Ever found yourself overthinking every message, every smile, every little gesture, just wishing she'd give you a sign? What if I told you there's a single moment when you don't have to guess anymore? That moment when everything suddenly makes sense and her feelings are crystal clear. Body language is the language she speaks when words are unnecessary, when the world fades and only the subtle movements and gestures between you exist. It's in the way her eyes catch yours across the room, not just a glance, but a gaze that lingers with a quiet curiosity, a sparkle that seems to recognize something in you that no one else does. There's a softness in the way she tilts her head when listening, an unconscious lean toward you that signals her presence is more than casual. You notice how her body subtly mirrors yours when you speak, a subconscious alignment that creates a rhythm, a dance of energy that draws you closer without either of you having to acknowledge it aloud. Her posture shifts in your presence, not rigid or rehearsed, but open, inviting, as if she's silently saying that she wants to be near you, wants to be part of the space you occupy. These signals are instantaneous, and the instant you notice them, it's impossible to ignore the truth behind her interest. It's also in the smaller, almost imperceptible gestures that your heart begins to understand what her words may never explicitly reveal. The way she brushes her hair behind her ear while keeping her eyes on you, the way her foot tilts toward you even in a crowded room, the subtle inclination of her body when she's engaged in conversation, all these signs are unspoken, but they communicate volumes. Her hands might find ways to reach yours by accident or intention, a touch that lingers just long enough to leave warmth behind, a reminder that her attention is not casual. Even her smile speaks a language of its own. It's not just polite or friendly, it's expressive, alive, and filled with an intimacy that feels directed solely at you. When she laughs at something only you would say, or when her expression softens, when you share a small, vulnerable thought, her body confirms the feelings that her words may be too shy to carry. There's also a rhythm to the way she moves around you, a silent choreography that draws you in, that makes your awareness sharper to every detail. The tilt of her shoulder, the way she angles herself when sitting across from you, the subtle nods and quick glances, all of these are signs of engagement, of interest, of a magnetic pull that is unmistakable if you pay attention. Her energy becomes a reflection of her feelings, and it's almost impossible to mistake when it's genuine. Even in moments of casual conversation, the small, repeated actions, the unconscious mirroring, the attentive postures, and the gentle touches reveal a story far louder than any words could express. Your intuition picks it up even before your mind fully processes it. And in that awareness, you start to understand that her body has been speaking all along, guiding you toward the undeniable truth that her heart is quietly, consistently present with yours. Effort without pressure is one of the quietest yet most unmistakable signs that she's genuinely into you. It's not about grand gestures, dramatic confessions, or the kind of attention that feels forced. It's in the effortless ways she chooses to show up for you, ways that make your heart notice without making you feel obligated to respond in a certain way. She reaches out because she wants to, not because she expects anything in return. A simple message to check in, a thoughtful question about your day, or remembering something you casually mentioned weeks ago. These small acts carry a weight far heavier than words because they are voluntary, consistent, and sincere. There's a difference between someone who's obligated to act and someone who acts out of genuine care. And the moment you notice it, it hits differently. It's warm, reassuring, and quietly magnetic. You start to notice how she makes space for you in her life, not in a way that demands your constant attention, but in ways that are intentional and natural. She shows up for moments that matter to you, even if they seem insignificant to anyone else. It could be as simple as sending a song she thought you'd like, or checking if you made it home safely after a long day. There's a gentleness in the effort, a balance between showing she cares and giving you room to breathe. It's never suffocating, never overbearing, yet it speaks volumes. She doesn't pressure you to reciprocate her feelings or rush the connection. Everything feels organic. You realize that her presence, her attentiveness, and her gestures are not about control or expectation. They are about genuine interest, about wanting to be part of your life without demanding it. The beauty of effort without pressure is also in the timing. She doesn't wait for the perfect moment to show she cares, and she doesn't seek acknowledgement for every small thing she does. She offers her attention and care in ways that feel seamless, natural, and unforced, almost like a quiet undercurrent of affection running beneath everyday interactions. And the way she maintains this consistency without overthinking it, without turning it into a performance, is what makes it so powerful. You start to notice the patterns, the small nudges, the casual messages, the way she listens when you speak or subtly encourages your dreams, and it all becomes a language of care that doesn't require explanation. You feel it more than you think about it, and it slowly builds a sense of certainty that her feelings are genuine. It's in these effortless gestures that trust begins to form, where you sense that she isn't trying to manipulate or impress, but simply wants to be present. There's a softness in the way she accommodates your life, your schedule, your moods, without making it about her or her expectations. And even in moments of silence, the quiet effort, like waiting patiently for your reply or giving you space to process your thoughts, becomes its own affirmation of interest. You notice it in the little sacrifices, the voluntary attentions, the consistency that never feels forced, and you realize that real care doesn't need loud declarations or constant reassurance because it exists naturally, fluidly, and freely. Consistency over time is one of the most revealing signs that she's truly into you. It's easy for anyone to be attentive for a day, a week, or even a few hours, but real interest shows itself in the quiet, repeated patterns that span days, weeks, and months. You begin to notice it in the way she checks in, not just once, but repeatedly, in ways that feel natural and effortless. It's in the small, almost imperceptible actions that add up. Remembering a story you told last month, asking about something important in your life, or simply sending a message to say she's thinking of you. These aren't grand gestures meant to impress. They're genuine, consistent expressions of care that slowly weave themselves into your life and create a sense of reliability, trust, and quiet intimacy. Over time, these moments start to build a picture that is impossible to ignore, a subtle proof that she isn't just interested on a whim, but that her attention is intentional, steady, and real. Consistency isn't just about attention, it's about showing up emotionally as well. She doesn't disappear when life gets busy, when plans change, or when things get messy. Instead, she maintains a presence that feels dependable and comforting. You begin to notice patterns. She responds to your highs and lows with the same warmth and thoughtfulness. She remembers the little details that matter to you, and she celebrates your victories without needing recognition in return. It's in the way she listens carefully, how she offers support without being overbearing, and how she remains patient with your moods and quirks. These repeated behaviors, day after day, week after week, reveal a depth of interest that can't be faked. It's a quiet assurance that her feelings aren't fleeting, that her presence isn't accidental, and that her care is rooted in genuine connection rather than momentary attraction. Over time, this consistency creates a rhythm that your heart begins to recognize. You start to notice her intentions even before she speaks. You feel the effort in her silences and gestures, and you understand the sincerity behind every smile and message. It's in the little things, like how she remembers your favorite food, the way she checks if you reached home safely, or how she brings up a topic you mentioned days ago. These repeated acts aren't forced, they're organic, flowing naturally from her genuine interest in you. And as the days go by, you realize that the accumulation of these small, consistent actions is what builds the strongest sense of certainty. You don't have to guess about her feelings anymore because her reliability, her attentiveness, and her presence speak louder than any words could. Consistency over time is also a test of priorities and intentions. Someone who is truly interested will continue to make space for you, even when life gets complicated. They'll show up, not just when it's convenient or when they feel like it, but as a natural part of their life. You notice how she adjusts without complaint, how she offers support in ways that don't feel forced, and how she remains attentive even when external circumstances try to pull her away. It's in these repeated acts over time that you feel the depth of her care and understand the certainty behind her interest and how much of herself she is willing to invest. Prioritizing you is one of the most revealing and heartfelt signs that she's genuinely into you. It's not about grand declarations or dramatic gestures. It's in the small, deliberate ways she makes space for you in her life, even when life is busy or messy. You start noticing how she adjusts her schedule without complaint, how she remembers to reach out despite having 1,000 other things to do, and how she makes an effort to be present at the moments that matter to you. When someone prioritizes you, it isn't forced or transactional. It's a quiet, consistent expression of care that communicates without words that you matter deeply. You realize that she doesn't need to be told to check in or to consider your feelings because it comes naturally to her. The way she intentionally fits into your world and allows you into hers becomes a rhythm that you slowly begin to recognize. And in that recognition, there's a warmth and clarity that feels unmistakable. You notice it in her attentiveness to the details that most people overlook. She remembers the little things you mention in passing, the food you like, the song that makes you smile, the story that matters to you, and brings them up at the right moments. It's not about proving anything. It's about showing that she listens, that she cares, and that your happiness matters to her. When she asks questions about your day, not out of obligation, but genuine curiosity, or takes the time to encourage your dreams, hopes, and ambitions, it becomes obvious that her interest in you goes far beyond surface level attraction. She is making a conscious choice to invest time, energy, and emotional attention in you, and that level of thoughtfulness speaks volumes about her feelings. There's a sense of intentionality in every interaction, a consistency that allows you to feel seen, valued, and understood in a way that doesn't require explanations or reassurances. Prioritizing you also shows up in the way she balances her own life with yours. She doesn't cancel her own happiness to make room for you, but she makes space for you in ways that respect both of your worlds. She celebrates your victories, comforts you in your struggles, and adjusts without resentment when life's unpredictability affects your plans. Even in small gestures, sending a message to check if you arrived safely, remembering a commitment you mentioned, or making time for a simple conversation, she communicates her priority through her actions, not just her words. Over time, these consistent choices create a subtle but powerful message that you are a significant part of her life and that your presence matters enough to influence the way she navigates her own. You start to sense this in the natural flow of your interactions. There's a difference between someone who is interested but distracted and someone who truly prioritizes you. She remembers the context of your conversations. She notices changes in your mood, and she engages with a level of thoughtfulness that feels deliberate yet effortless. It isn't always about big sacrifices. It's about showing up consistently in meaningful ways that align with her feelings for you. And it's in this quiet, patient investment that the truth of her intentions becomes crystal clear. Natural comfort is one of the quietest yet most profound signs that she's truly into you. It's not about forced smiles, rehearsed conversations, or trying to impress. It's about the effortless way she exists around you, the ease that settles in the air whenever the two of you are together. You start noticing it in the way she doesn't feel the need to perform or put on a facade. Her gestures are natural, her laughter unrestrained, and her attention undivided. There's a sense of peace in her presence, a subtle reassurance that you can be yourself without worrying about judgment, about being too much or too little. When someone is genuinely interested, you feel it in the way she interacts with you, in the ease of her movements, the softness in her voice, and the warmth in her eyes. It's a kind of comfort that wraps around you without needing explanation, a quiet energy that says, without words, that she enjoys simply being near you. You notice it in the small, everyday moments, the way she settles into a shared silence without awkwardness, the way she jokes with you freely, or the way she engages in conversations that meander and shift without structure or expectation. With her, there's no need to carefully craft every sentence, no pressure to act a certain way, because she accepts your presence as it is. She doesn't demand perfection. She doesn't analyze or overthink every word you say. Instead, she matches the rhythm of your comfort, responding naturally, laughing easily, and letting moments flow without tension. It's in this shared ease that her interest becomes undeniable because she is choosing to show her true self to you and allowing you to do the same, creating a bond that feels organic and safe. Natural comfort is also revealed in vulnerability. She shares parts of herself without hesitation, small fears, personal stories, or quiet thoughts, and she encourages you to do the same. When someone is into you, they are not just drawn to your personality, they are drawn to the genuine connection that comes from letting your walls down. You start to notice how she listens without judgment, how she remembers the little things that matter, and how she reacts with empathy and understanding when you open up. There's a sense of intimacy in this ease, an unspoken understanding that both of you can be imperfect and still feel fully seen and appreciated. She doesn't need to impress you or earn your attention with dramatic gestures, because the comfort of simply being together is enough to communicate the depth of her feelings. Even in physical space, natural comfort is evident. She sits or stands near you in a relaxed way, doesn't flinch at casual touches, and moves with a grace that seems unconsciously aligned with your energy. You notice how easy it is to spend hours talking, laughing, or even sitting in silence without feeling the need to fill every moment. It's this effortless connection, the absence of tension, and the presence of genuine ease that make it clear she's invested emotionally. You sense that her comfort around you is intentional in its simplicity, a reflection of interest that doesn't demand proof, attention, or validation, and that presence itself communicates more than words ever could. When you start noticing these signs, the instant recognition, the subtle body language, the effortless effort without pressure, the consistency over time, the way she prioritizes you, and the natural comfort that surrounds every interaction, it all begins to paint a clear picture. You realize that attraction isn't always about loud gestures or dramatic confessions. Sometimes it's in the quiet moments, the small actions, and the genuine attention that speaks louder than any words ever could. When you're able to observe these patterns, when you feel the ease in her presence, and when you recognize the consistent care she shows, the guessing disappears. You don't have to overthink her intentions, analyze every text, or question every interaction because the truth becomes unmistakable. It's in those subtle glances, the warm smiles, the little thoughtful gestures, and the effortless connection that she reveals her heart without saying a single word. And in that clarity, you understand something beautiful. Real interest isn't always flashy or loud. It's quiet, persistent, and deeply felt. It's the way she shows up, how she makes you feel safe and seen, and the way you can be entirely yourself around her. When all of these moments come together, when every small sign aligns, you finally realize that she's into you. And in that realization, there's a sense of peace, excitement, and certainty that makes the waiting, the wondering, and the guessing feel entirely unnecessary